versus Wolfe.
Koenig and Wolfe. I'm Doug Wolfe with General Manager Clay Koenig, and this morning I think we're talking about weed.
Weed, yeah. Forsyth is looking to possibly add a dispensary up in Forsyth, Illinois.
Yeah. Now, they have some hoops to jump through first. They're doing a couple of public hearings. They had one in June, and now the next one will be July 11th at the Forsyth Public Library at either 6 or 6:30. That's July 11th. They're basically trying to see what the public thinks. So anybody can come. You don't have to be a Forsyth resident. Anybody can come and give input to the Forsyth Village Board. You get 3 minutes to talk. That's it.
If they were really in, they should have set that movie at 4:20.
What?
Nothing. Go on.
That's a drug joke. I see what you're saying. All right. But for the people at home, April 20th.
Right.
Anyway, then the village board will have to vote on whether or not to change their ordinance. Because back in 2019, they voted not to have recreational dispensaries. But, you know, they may have the votes now to pass it.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're changing their mind? Or they could possibly be changing their mind?
I don't know if they are going to. We don't know that for a fact. I would say it's because of the lure of money, that they can get some extra money out of it.
They're saying about $500,000 possibility in tax revenue each year.
I want to know where that number comes from. I know their lawyer for the dispensary, I believe it's called Illinois Health Wellness, I believe their lawyer gave them that number. Now, to me, it's a diminishing return in Macon County. You've got the one dispensary in Harristown. If you put another one in Forsyth, what is that? Does that bring in new people? Because Springfield's got them, multiple ones, as you mentioned in your editorial. Bloomington's got one. Champagne's got some. Do they basically just eat up some of the tax revenue that was going to Harristown?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, people are traveling to go buy their marijuana. People from here travel to Springfield, Champaign, Bloomington, you name it. They're going all over the place.
Still,
absolutely.
All right, so why aren't they going to Harristown?
Well, they're going to Harristown. The people from Harristown are going to Harristown. The people from Decatur are going to Harristown. And I'm sure there's some outskirts towns that are going to Harristown. Harristown provides them that location, as they should. I look at it this way. I look at the safety. I mean, when something new comes about, everybody flips out. I mean, look, you've got your talkers on this side, and you've got your talkers on this side. I take a look at the safety between alcohol versus marijuana.
And what's the safety?
Okay, so I took a look at the deaths, the amount of deaths attributed to alcohol last year. Okay? 189,000 people died. Traffic accidents, you name it.
This is nationwide.
This is nationwide. Okay? With marijuana last year, 104 people died. Some reaction to cannabinoids, what have you.
But
what?
It's not legal everywhere. It's only legal in a few states.
Well, not a few states. I mean, you're talking, I think, there is 11 states that has nothing to do with marijuana. All of the other states have some form of legality with marijuana because the stigma is gone. This is a safe drug that comes from the earth.
But you're still driving impaired.
Absolutely. I would never, ever suggest, if you're smoking, they say you should wait 4.5 hours, or maybe that's where the 420 comes from, to be safe. I don't condone any driving on any impairment whatsoever. But the bottom line is we want to talk about safety or even just how you feel. Let's get personal. Have you been drunk before?
Yeah.
Okay.
30 years ago.
Okay, 30 years ago. How did you feel the next day, Doug? Do you remember?
Hungover.
Headache, indigestion, in the restroom half the day. You want to go to sleep. Everything's done.
Puking in the general manager's office.
Well, I don't know about that. This is 30 years ago. But when you're smoking marijuana, you wake up and everything's brand new. There's no headache. There's no lasting effects. There's no nothing. Everything is bright, clean, cheery. I mean, I promote just from the safety. Then I took a look at how many murders were involved with alcohol. This is good stuff right here. All right? What percentage of murders occurred with alcohol? Well, robberies that had murders, 15% of those people were on alcohol. Intimate partner, you're killing your spouse, your wife, your girlfriend, what have you, 63% of those murders had alcohol. Sexual assaults, 37% of those people were on alcohol. Physical assaults, 46%. Homicides all in the U.S., 45% of all the murders in the U.S. involve alcohol. Then I looked at marijuana. The sample is so small that one person committed murder that was fully on marijuana that they found from last year. One person.
How do they know that?
Because they look at drug testing when they're doing murders and they're taking toxicology reports, and it might be marijuana mixed with this. But this drug isn't getting everybody freaked out and everybody going nuts like they thought they were. You know what it is? It's a revenue stream, and it's a medicine to help people out. You talk to cancer victims.
I have no problem with medicine and cancer patients. My problem is I still say that it's going to be just as bad eventually as alcohol when it comes to impaired driving.
Okay. Look, why don't we take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about these.
Me.
No, we'll talk more about these stats.
Talk.
You're watching Koenig versus Wolfe, and this week we're talking about Forsyth possibly getting a dispensary.
And we were talking about impairment, and
yes.
my argument was that I think eventually you'll see the impairment numbers with pot and other drugs go up as it becomes more widely available.
You know what? I mean, honestly, if you take a ride down the street, let's be serious. I smell it everywhere. I could be at a street light. I could be at a big box store. I could be at a local store. I smell it every single day. So when they legalized marijuana here in Illinois, and specifically here in Decatur, I had heard they had put X amount of dollars towards a police officer that was specifically involved with marijuana-related arrest when it came to impairment. Now, what I should have done is I should have called the chief and said, look, I want stats on how these...
If that's correct.
If that's correct. And see really how many. But as far as all these people getting DUIs on marijuana, I just don't see it.
No, because they don't have the testing abilities.
So you're saying they're letting everybody...
You can do a breathalyzer on the street and know somebody's impaired by alcohol. Can't do that with marijuana.
Yeah, but there's specific things that they can look at with people with the eyes, with, you know, where they're doing testing right there on the side of the road. Sobriety tests. They have sobriety tests for marijuana, and that's what these officers are specifically hired because they know when someone's impaired on marijuana or not. But it's a different deal compared to alcohol. It really is. Just think about your attitude. When you're drinking alcohol, you become bulletproof. You give me the lip, I'm going to knock your block off. If I'm smoking weed and you give me lip, I'm passing it to you and saying, take a puff and enjoy yourself. There's no violence. There's no let's go out and fight. It's basically, that's why they talk about peace and love. It's just a different feeling. Your inhibitions, they're not gone like they are with alcohol. You know exactly what you're doing. You might be a little impaired, a little psychedelically out there, but when it comes to alcohol, I just believe there's just no comparison.
I don't know. My whole thing is, again,
old school. I get it, and I respect it. I respect it 110%.
I'm an old man.
Well, here's what it is. Even in this business, we just talked about this coming on set. You change or die. You change or die. You're going to let everything pass you up. You know, what do they say? The people that let life go by, we are the makers. We are the people that are making the differences and the changes. And I think something like this, I think it's very positive for Forsyth. My opinion.
But again, I just kind of wonder, especially on those revenue numbers, if they're not a little bit bogus, because I think that there's only a certain number of people that are going to do it, and the two different dispensaries will just eat into each other and steal revenue from each other.
50.3% of the adults in the United States at this point have tried marijuana.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying that the revenue pool is only so big. The revenue pie, the slice of pie. And now instead of one dispensary getting the whole pie, they're going to have two dispensaries in different towns getting half and half.
You mean like NBC, CBS, and Fox? Now we got cable and fragment this and OTT this. I mean, basically it's
stealing audience.
Stealing audience. Fragmenting that audience. Let's split it up as much as we can.
So Harristown won't get as much as they've been getting, and Forsyth may, I don't know. We don't have actual projections that are, to me, they're not solid projections. If I'm the lawyers for that company, I'm telling you anything you want to hear to get that dispensary in here. So when they say 500,000, they may be absolutely right. They may get more. Who knows? I bet they get less.
We should start a gummy factory. Koenig versus Wolfe, that logo wrapped around a gummy. Oh, yeah. You don't think everybody wants to buy that?
Why don't we get one of these dispensaries to support this show?
Support the show?
Yeah.
I think half the time they probably think we're high anyways.
Because this company that's coming into Forsyth, they operate the Bloomington dispensary up there. A dispensary in Bloomington. Bloomington may have more than one. I don't know. It's a college town. They probably have 20.
Good stuff, Doug, and we'll follow up on this for sure.
All right.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Thank you.